Okay, this is AutoCAD number 3. It's called Crank Assembly. The first thing we do is we start a new drawing. We're going to start by setting up the problem the way they want us to in the assignment. So we'll start, before we start drawing anything, we're going to actually go down here, make sure we have ortho mode, grid mode on. We'll make sure we have ortho mode turned on, and we'll make sure we have snap mode turned on. The snap mode is going to have, I'm not sure if you can see this pop up, but make sure you have the endpoints, the center, the quadrant, and the intersection selected, which I do. I have got all those selected, so I'm good here. I'm also going to go ahead and type in limits, set up my limits. 0, 0 is fine, but I'll make the top, let's say 15, 15. And now we'll go ahead and hit Z for zoom, A for all, and I've now established my drawing field. The first thing we're going to do is start by making a 3.5 vertical line. So we'll hit L for line, we'll go ahead and select somewhere and we'll draw it down. Notice I've got ortho on, so it's only going to lock me to the 90-degree increment. So I can just go down any direction that's downward of the point, type 3.5, enter, and I now have a line that's 3.5 long. I'm going to go ahead and hit escape, and then on this line we're going to start by drawing some concentric circles. So we'll hit C for circle, we'll go to the top. Now note there's measurements on these circles. Some of them have a little circle with a line through it. That means diameter. The ones that have an R is obviously radius. So you can tell why a radius with 1 is going to be greater than a diameter with 1. So we'll go ahead and hit the center that establishes the center of our circle, and we'll move out. Now if we type in a value right now, it's going to go in as the radius. To specify diameter, we're going to go ahead and hit D, enter, and then we can type in our diameter of 1. We're going to do this again, so C, enter, and select our center. Go out. This time we do want radius, so we'll just go ahead and hit 1. And now we've got our two circles, one with a diameter 1, one with a radius of 1. We're going to do C again. This time we're going to be working on those bottom circles. The first one has a diameter, D, of 1.5. And then we've got C for circle, hit the center. That's when the snap mode really comes in handy. And if you don't have center selected when you do your up menu, it won't find the center of the circle. So that's why we want to turn those on before we get started. The next circle has a diameter of 2.75, so D, enter, 2.75. And lastly, we'll go ahead and select another circle, and this one is going to have a radius of 1.75. Awesome. Now we've got our 3 bottom circles. What I'm going to do is hit L for line. I'm going to draw a line out this way. Then I'm going to draw a line all the way, maintaining my point. I'm just going to draw all the way the other way, just a little bit through. I'm now going to hit escape and see if I can select. Here, we'll go ahead and right click it. I'll say, I'm sure you can't see the pop-up that I've actually right clicked right now. The recording device I'm using doesn't allow that. But when you right click it, it'll give you your pop-up, and under it you'll see one that says draw order. You do send to back, escape again, and when you select it the next time, you'll select that half line. I'll go ahead and delete it, and now I have a perpendicular line that intersects my circles. What this is going to be useful for is I'm going to go ahead and hit escape again. I'll select this one, hit shift and select the line. Where is it? Okay, we'll do this a different way. Okay, I just selected it. Now we'll go up to the trim button up here. It's these little pair of scissors, and I'll hit it. And now it's going to give me an option to trim one of the objects. I'm going to trim this top circle because if you can see in our diagram, we don't have it there. So I'll go ahead and hit there, and then I'll hit enter. And that'll bring me out my commands. We're going to do a similar thing up top. L for line, go up top, draw it this way. Note that they're similar in the drawing. The lines, I mean. Escape. We'll right click on this one. Nope, it did not right click yet. There we go. No, it's not working. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Go to draw order and I'll write send to back. And now when I select, didn't do it yet. Draw order, send to back. There we go. I'll hit delete. Now we've gotten rid of that hidden line that we didn't actually see. We're going to do a similar thing to this top circle as you see in the diagram. So we'll go ahead and right click left click and select both those, the circle and the line. Go up to the trim tool and we'll trim the bottom part of the circle, hit enter, and we're done there. We'll go ahead and hit L again, enter for line, grab this endpoint and connect it to that endpoint. Enter, enter. If you hit enter twice, by the way, it pauses the command and then re-engages it. So as you saw there, I didn't want to continue my line from here, so I hit enter and that paused it, and I hit enter again, and now I have the tool back without having to go through L and line. So now we've got our basic crank assembly drawn. We want to zoom in. You'll notice on the diagram that we have given to us, this line is actually extended further. So I'm going to go ahead and hit L for line. Oh, I already have line selected, my bad. And I'll go up just a little bit and go all the way down. And this is again how you're drawing a long line. Hit escape. Here's a trick. Instead of doing selecting a line, sending it to back so you can delete it, you can also select it this way. And get it. This selection tool only selects things that are completely encompassed within the field. So by doing that, I'm not selecting any of the background items, and I can hit delete. But mind you, there's also a line here that I'm not seeing. So I'll go ahead and go in here and draw a line. Nope, didn't do it. But just click, zoom in a little bit. Right there, I've now selected my line. I can hit delete, and now I have my actual crank assembly drawn. Let us draw the next part before we do any dimensions. That way we can just kind of L for line, grab this, move it over, enter, and then enter again, brings me over here. That's good enough for our purposes. Now we're going to draw a 3.5. Actually, how about this? There we go. We're going to... Sorry, I'm all over the place. Here we go. We're just going to draw a 3. It's not letting me draw the line that I want to draw. Okay, draw a line and then go down 3.5. Here we go. We've now established the basic part of our drawing. You can finish it over here. Enter again, and L for line. Now, if you look at the dimensions, it doesn't tell you exactly how far, but we do know from the circles how wide those extra bits on top over here and on the bottom over here are supposed to be. So we're going to go ahead and hit L for line. Oh, I'm already selected line, sorry. We'll go all the way across. Enter, enter, go all the way across, enter, enter. These are just template lines, so you don't have to worry about them like endpoints. This one goes, enter, and you're basically copying down any line that you see on this one. So we've drawn the top view already. What we're doing now is actually drawing the side view. So by pulling all these lines over, we're allowing the side view to take shape without actually having to do any more measurements. So if you see, we actually have all the lines that we need for our side length already laid out. So I'm going to go ahead and hit line, go up here, have a random point. Why is that? Oh, that's selecting from midpoint. You could turn that off, I suppose, but we do not necessarily need to. Here's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and delete that one. L for line. We'll redraw the top one, but this time only go enough that we're encompassing all of these, and then we'll finish our line. If you see here in the diagram, we're supposed to be 0.5 inches thick, so we'll go in this direction. I know my line's going in that direction, 0.5, and that should give me a point right here, to which I will go all the way back up. Now here's where it gets fun. We're going to go back up here to the trim tool. Don't click on it, just hit escape to exit all commands. Highlight all of this, and then we'll hit the trim tool. And so we're going to go ahead and trim off all of these pieces. We don't need any of those. We can trim off this. It's not going. This one. Okay. Basically just delete anything we don't need. Like this one, this one, this one, this one. Yeah, we don't need any of these. We'll keep those ones though. We need this one, this one, this one, and this one for now. And we could also delete that. So we'll go ahead and hit enter. Now we've erased most of the parts. Anything that's left over that we can't trim, we'll just go ahead and go in and delete them. So this one we can delete, but this one it's still a full line. So we'll go ahead and select both of those, hit the trim tool one more time, and we'll take care of that. Hit enter. So we now have the general shape covered. The last part we're going to need is looking at the dimensions. We have to draw the actual standoff for the crank. So as you see, it's 1.75. What we'll go ahead and do is I'll hit L for line, enter, select this point, go in this direction instead of this direction, 1.75, enter, and it'll actually give me my endpoint, which I can use to cross off the rest of them. See that? So now we're actually going to go ahead and select these again. I keep doing this. I'm used to like 4 different CAD programs, so I'm messing with my own head. Trim that one, trim this one. This one we can trim, and we're left with this. We want to keep this one though, and we're going to change that line to something else very soon. So go ahead and hit enter. We now have our design pretty much drawn completely. So now what we're left is to do dimensions. Before we do dimensions, however, if you look at the bottom of the page, you'll see instructions about these things called layers. We'll go up to layer properties. We're going to go ahead and try to pull this down. No, my bad. Hold on. Just go ahead and select a line that you know is supposed to be dashed. Go down to right click it and go down to something that you see says called properties. And it'll bring up this property drawing. I really hope you can see this in the recording program. You're going to go ahead and go back up to layer properties. You're going to hit right click and you write add new layer, and then you write that as hidden. Name that hidden. Click line type and go down to load. And it tells you we're going to look for hidden 2-5, and hidden 2 is right here. Hit OK. Again, if you can't see the pop-ups, I apologize. The program I'm using to record sometimes only allows me to record one application, and it doesn't recognize pop-ups. So you select hidden 2, and if you're following my instructions, you'll see this. Go ahead and hit OK, and up here you'll see it'll change to hidden 2. So now we can go ahead and right-click a line, go over to the layer, and we'll go to hidden. Nice. And do it to this one as well. Layer, go to hidden. So these are actually a little too dashed for us. As the diagram depicts, we're going to do this again. This time we're going to create a layer called center. Oh wait, no. Yeah, center. Go ahead and click line type. Click load. Go down to center. Center 2.5. Hit OK. Make sure you've selected it. No, I selected border accidentally. Go down to center, and when you find center 2, there we go. Go ahead and hit OK and load. Oh wait, no. Okay. Cancel. And then you go to center 2, hit OK. You've now selected that. So now we'll go back to our lines and we'll hit center And you'll see it now looks just like the drawing has. Okay, we'll do that to all the lines that are supposed to be dashed. Enter this one. We're going to go down to center. This one as well. For the lines that are actually included, so those ones are done. For this line, we'll go ahead and hit shift, or go ahead and select this line as well. Both of these lines. These are lines that are actually hidden in the diagram. So these would be like the hole and things like that. And those will go to layer hidden. You'll see those become dashed. Go ahead and hit enter, and you now see dashed lines, center lines. This is one other line, sorry, that's supposed to be on the center layer. So now we have our actual diagram drawn out and all of the lines are in their proper layers. The last thing we have to do is do dimensions. So we'll go ahead and close the layer window. And this video is running a little bit long, so if you know how to do dimensions, you can go ahead and end it here, but I'm still going to go over it. We'll go to linear first, and we're going to go ahead and select the ones that need to be diagrammed. So here, it's going to make me do them each separately. Distance between these two is 3.5. The distance on here is 0.5. The distance on the bottom, also 1.5 or 1.75. And then if you do right click and you go down, you'll see radius and diameter. Again, I'm not sure if you can see the pop-ups, but radius and diameter will pop up. We're going to hit radius for all the ones that have radiuses. So this one, oh wait, no, that's one that has a diameter. My apologies. This one. And the bottom one. Okay, now we're going to go back up here and hit diameter, and that'll allow us to do diameters. Notice if I click it, I can go anywhere on the circle, so I'm just kind of making it look like the photo. And if you did everything correctly, you should have a diagram that looks exactly like the diagram that we had made. So I'll hit Z for zoom, A for all, and we're back at our perfect diagram, and this is what you'd be able to submit. So that's AutoCAD number 3.